Let's see, Corey.
Corey Canada with the Avondale Fire Department out of Louisiana. The assistant chief of the department handle daily operations.
There you go. No one would believe you're from Louisiana, by the way. The accent is,
Oh, I
Yeah.
would.
let's, I guess, staying in Louisiana, we'll go to Clint.
I'm Clint Sanchez, Baton Rouge Fire, Chief Information and Technology.
There you go. Nick.
Yep, Nick Wall, Roaring Fork Fire, which is right next to Aspen, Colorado, and I'm proud B shifter, firefighter, paramedic.
Oh, God, he's a medic, too. Oh, boy. All right, we'll let that one slide. All right, Clay. Looks like you're next on the screen.
I'm Clay Kitchens. I'm with Longview Fire Department in Longview, Texas. I'm about 2 hours south of Greenville. We've been up to Greenville a couple of times just seeing how they operate within First Due. We just finished up our implementation. And so with the newly released reports and dashboards, we're eager to start learning and making use of it.
Awesome.
Nice. What about Jason? You're muted. There you go.
Jason Village, Chief of Administration for Fire District 12 in Covington, Louisiana. I am new to First Due. We just started rollout in January, so we're slowly but surely getting everything online with it. So
Cool. And I know Chris said he's got some microphone issues. He just messaged. So Chris O'Toole will do his introduction. I forget the name of his department, but he's basically up in the New England area. And he's kind of really almost like the OG of First Due. They've been on it for a while. So
Chris, is your phone working?
Can you hear me?
oh,
Hey,
Yay.
how you doing? This is Chris. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm here.
you do
How we
your own
doing?
introduction now. Sorry.
Sounds good. Chris O'Toole, firefighter paramedic up here in Abington, Massachusetts, just south of Boston. We've been on First Due since 2020. We started with the response module before they came out with all the other stuff, and we've moved to a complete system with them. So, it's working out great. Just getting things set. You guys are a good resource, and it's good to coordinate with all of you.
Oh, cool. Thanks, Chris. I know Chris and we had one of our very first meetings together months ago when I was still searching for answers. I think we should probably maybe the next thing, since it's recorded and we're going to try to post it, is just this is, I think, the most important thing that we've been able to do is just find peers and work together. The knowledge base is great. Our CSMs are great. First Due does a good job with customer service, but sometimes you just have to talk to some other people who are using it and go a little bit slower and then find out what they're doing it and seeing it hands-on. And then the other thing probably to acknowledge is that if you are new to First Due, understand that it's software. Any software, Clint knows, any software you buy, rent, touch, or whatever, there's going to be hiccups along the way. And so when you have those hiccups, like I'm currently having and some of the others are having, you just got to take a breath. And that's where I think this group is good, because you call somebody in this group or you text them and they'll either let you vent, which sometimes you just have to get it out because your spouse is sick of hearing about it, or they'll offer you some encouragement and say, hey, look, I had the same thing happen. Try this or try that. So that's, to me, has been the biggest benefit of this group so far. I think in South Carolina, we're trying to build another thing with working with some folks in state. Looks like you guys are doing it in Texas, Louisiana. Nick, Colorado. I mean, I don't know, pass out some free gummies to get them to come help you. I don't.
I'm on the way.
Yeah. It's whatever y'all got to do. So what we've been doing is basically just showing off our dashboards and reports. And somebody goes, hey, that's really cool. And then that person walks the group through of how to build it. And I think that's been really helpful, just because that's sometimes what we need. So we're going to try to go to about 3. So we got about 54 minutes left, not to belabor or take anybody's time. So I've mentioned before my reports, we've got some issues with them. So I'd rather not show those reports. I've got some analytical reports, but they're nothing that Corey hasn't shown us. But has anybody done anything since our last meeting that they'd like to show? And then we walk through it.
So, William, just to iterate too, if someone wants a report from another department, as long as they get the department name and that report, they can get with them and request that to get that dumped into their account.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a great point. And I think first
You got to talk to Nick, Clint.
Yeah, Nick, what do you want, buddy?
All of them, all of them.
Yeah, Clay's shaking his head yes, like, and that's kind of guys, that's where I was, believe it or not, I think 2 weeks ago. And then I posted something. I think Corey was the first to chime in along with Clinton, and Sylvia was like, hey, me too. And both of us, and I called Corey the godfather of what we're doing because he was really the first one to take time and show me. And then Clinton was like, hey, man, hit me up. And if it wasn't for the two of them, I'd be more lost than where I am now. And so when Sylvia offered to host this one so we could record it, again, I think that's just that passing it forward, man. That's what the fire service is about, is working together in a team atmosphere. And, how do we keep it moving forward? So Corey, we saw yours. Sylvia, you have any new ones you want to show?
Nothing fancy. Mine are all just basic, but I'll tell you what I got in case anybody wants it. Let me go to my Excel sheet I've got somewhere. So what I did, I took that deal from First Due that has all the list of the different reports and where they're at and all that. Why am I not finding this? Well, I can't find it. Anyhow, what I did, let me drag it over from this other side. I got 4 monitors. I had to stay on my laptop at my desk because my internet back in our cave where our meeting room is doesn't work so good. Why is that not showing? Anyways, I'll read off the names of what I had because I can't find it on the share screen. Right, because I got a bunch of windows open. Dang it, just disappeared again.
William broke it for you.
Why is this? Goodness.
Who's up next then?
Yeah, go, somebody else go ahead because mine, I
Hey.
can't, I just lost it again.
Hey, do they work?
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
They were super basic though. I mean,
You
it's
can't
like,
see them though. This is
one-
convenient.
yeah, somebody else go and I'll.
What about Clint? And I'm only just for selfish reasons because we got a snippet of it last time.
Oh, you want to see it?
Yeah, I thought they were really, really cool. And Sylvia,
No,
you'll probably
I
have to make him a co-host so he can share his screen.
Okay.
I haven't done anything noteworthy. We had rocked the country last Friday, so I was at a festival rocking the country. Louisiana folk, we're one step closer on those PIL reports. I'm waiting on Ryan to filter it down a little bit more for the 1710 stuff, but we're getting there. And hopefully they say we're the guinea pigs, so I don't know. So our Nick, I say our Nick, I really should say West Bank Nick over there. He had something going on. He was meeting with Blaine again, and he called me. No, me, him, and Phil, and about all of them.
2 days ago.
Yeah, because I was on one of my bitch fests and was just ranting about them 1710 times, and we're getting it, man. We're getting it. They're taking care of it. But anyway, so Nick's in talks with them, and they're whittling away at it, man. So that's a good thing. So let me share my screen. And where are we at? Desktop 1? I guess that's it. Let's go with it. We're over here. We're over here. So you, Will, you were talking about, or William, whatever. You were talking about the demographics one.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. I don't know, like the size of the departments where some of you are at, but I know for us that's one that comes up all the time. And even if you're at a smaller department and you just don't want to have to try to think your way through what you got, especially if you got volunteers, see how he's got it broken down with the personnel by classification.
Oh, very cool.
Down by,
Yeah.
Very, very cool stuff. And we find ourselves like keeping this information on a literal whiteboard. And so
the intent of this was when FD1 gets hemmed up or something, you know, at a council meeting, and they're like, "Hey, what's the the racial breakup of or makeup, should I say, of your department?" Well, he can say, "Hey, look, we have a Native Hawaiian," or, you know, these are all cities, duplicates, right? But these are all cities inside and outside of Baton Rouge. You know, in case they ever make a push of how many people live within the city, how many people live outside the city. And you'll notice this. It worked the other day. There's a disparity here, right? So my numbers were matching up. Now they're not, undoubtedly. Oh, we lost a couple people this week. So that's what that is. I got to go see why it's doing that. But anyways, so this one's pretty simple. We'll go through them left to right, right? That is absolutely not the right button to click. So we'll come over here. Let me see which one this is. So this is oh yeah, that's right. I've got them all titled Council Week. So we're going to pop into another tab. How about that? So we'll go, one day I'm going to learn where that was loud. One day I'm going to learn where these freaking icons are, bro. Have y'all suffered from that? You're like, where's reports? Where's reports? And you're in it every day.
Yep.
You would think like we would get it down. So what I've been doing with my reports is kind of trying to keep everybody like who they're for, and you know, as you know, you end up with stuff like this. Nobody wants to fill out everything. So what I made was, and then you get copy of a copy of a copy of a copy, right? So we'll just run them 1 through 4, right? And those will correspond with we'll go as we do it. So this is number 1, the personnel breakdown by classification. This guy right here. Here's my criteria. Personnel module, obviously, right?
And Clint, I want to point out, because this is what
Sure.
I'm learning right now for anybody that watches, this report in particular will only work if you have that data input on the front end, right, Clint?
Yeah.
If you guys are running that reporter after you watch this video and you say, hey, it's not adding up, well, then you need to go check your personnel and make sure you have all those boxes filled in. And
Right.
I'm currently doing that now. Now you should probably have done it on the front end, but if you didn't, like me, now you got to go back and
We
do
didn't
it.
either.
Yeah.
And that was why my numbers didn't match, because we had some people that they didn't have their race put, you know, so I would have it didn't see them, and you'll see why. So we're our personnel module here, our data sources, personnel, no child, right? Obviously it's a summary, right? No columns, right? Hey, do y'all find yourselves in the first iteration when you're running a report, you're like, select all, and you just send them over and then come back and weed it out? I don't need this. I don't need this. So no sort, right? Here's my criteria, right? Status is inactive. Status is inactive. I'll leave it like that. Personnel rank I found we had to do is not null, right? So we're looking for active people that have a rank put in there, because I'm pretty certain we have some that just don't have a rank in there, right? This came after I built the report, so I didn't do anything here. But obviously you could tweak that as you want. No schedule, no filters, no settings, right? So then when you run it, you end up with, you saw it, like a breakdown of your whatever, your people, like, right? So you have one of these. We only have one fire chief, although on any given day we really should have about 13 of these, because everybody loves telling me what to do. So we'll bounce to, that's that. We're going to go to personnel breakdown by race.
And I missed it, Clint, when you showed that one. Just want to make sure you showed the grouping and then scrolled all the way through it.
Yeah, I had no
That's
group.
it. Okay,
I
perfect.
built this, before, and I've found that if you change, like if you were to change this and save it, then it's going to require everything else, you know, and give you all those errors. So let's pop over to number 2, which is, I wish they had a save view here, but I'm sure they're working on it. Yes, I do need bourbon. Thank you, baby. It's the weekend, right? Council
Hey,
meeting.
hey, y'all hiring?
Council meeting number 2, right? See, you'll see we have some garbage put in here, and that's just our clerks that are, oh, one person uses caps, one person doesn't, and then White Castle, right? I really want to do another iteration of this that's like, look at this. We got somebody down there by y'all. That actually shows whether it's in the parish, county, or out of the parish. But that's to come later, right? So we'll go through this guy slowly. Personnel module, right? No child, nothing crazy, just plain Jane personnel. Summary, we know that. Columns, we know there's nothing. Sort is nothing. Criteria, here's our criteria. Your city is not empty. So we didn't want those. I think like Miss Clemson was saying last time, you just end up with nulls and you don't know why. So the easiest way is to work backwards and say, well, I don't want null. So this is the same as the one we did, that number 1, except we're just changing city, right? So we got our status equals active, and then our city is what we don't want null. Whereas the other one, it was just rank. And you might could combine the two. I'm not sure. Grouping, again, no grouping. Nothing there and there and there and there, right?
So
you end
Clint,
up- Yes,
one
sir.
thing you just pointed out, and so if anybody's watching, did you just hear what he said? He's like, hey, this is the same thing, but we just changed it from rank to city.
Yeah.
And so as you guys build these, and the thing you're going to learn is what Corey taught me in particular, so did Clint, is that once you understand the formula, a lot of times when you're going back, you're just changing certain points. So you're not having to recreate the wheel. So you can copy or clone that report in most cases and just change, that 1 or 2 things. But keep in mind, if it's broke on the first one, it's gonna be broken on the other ones too. So make sure it's working just how you want it before you clone it and try it again.
So what took me a while. I'm sorry, is somebody talking?
Nick?
Yeah, I had a quick question that's it relates to this information, but in the personnel module. I submitted a ticket this week that we couldn't really limit the views. We have like this, and I know it's a new module for them, but we have this all personnel view, and we can't change who can see that. I was wondering, which kind of defeats the purpose of people being able to go in and update this information themselves, or, if we don't want the battalion chiefs to see social security numbers or what have you. I was wondering, so they viewed that as an enhancement request, which I think the wires just got crossed. I was wondering if anyone else had that same issue.
This may be your best bet to come over here if you're talking about just like personnel data, like
Yeah, so
number.
where it says all personnel, I can't limit who can see this view.
Yeah, but in here, what you could do is make you a save view, right? So let's do it, man.
Yeah, show them, Clint, because I was going to say, Nick, we were able to limit who can see it, and so we did it through roles. So right now, only battalion chiefs can see this.
Okay.
So what you would do is, and forgive me, I haven't done this a lot yet. So you could create it's in here, right? You'll add a view. Okay, so here we go. And we want to be able to see first name, last name, and email. We're just going to keep it simple, right? And then if you want to allow your filtering, you do whatever, email or whatever. Let's filter them by email just for the heck of it, right? And then I'm not sure what this is. This is where you can get Burley, but look at this. Share this view with, and you say selected users. So remember here, you can go by ranks, you can go by roles. So if let's just say only my demo account and she's not here, well, we'll do Jennifer, right? Send it over. And save it. And we will open another tab so I can log in as my demo or my dummy account, whatever you want to call it. FD.
Econ is complete and turned on.
I haven't really put the rubber to the road on that much on this save view thing, but now you could probably go to, okay, so look, he doesn't have access to the personnel list at all. So let's go tighten that up.
So Clint, I had built a active personnel and an inactive personnel
See?
for that role area.
So I don't even know what role he's in. So let's just stick him in a deputy chief role, right? His name is aptly titled First Due, right? Save him. But yeah, an incognito. This is a Mac, so y'all bear with me. So we'll catch a refresh. Well, now he's got a personnel list and he has access to that save view because we shared it with him, right? So he can come up to here to, share with me views or what's relief in this instance. I think because I didn't save it on the other one. But Nick, I think that may solve your problem.
Yeah, I think you're having the same issue I'm having where if you turn on the ability for them to see the personnel module, they can see that all personnel view as opposed, even if you create another view that
I
limits them.
understand. I understand. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. I know that there's some chatter about them really adding a bunch of more permissions. Well, because of that dashboard right here, that one that with this sure it's public record, but it's just not everybody needs to see everything. And I think they're getting around to we're going to be able to hide dashboards and personnel lists and all that. They realize that there's a lot to be done, I guess, permissions and role based. So they're working on it. So your enhancement ticket and then my enhancement ticket and probably everybody in here has one. So they ought to get it.
I know I had one from when we first started. Like one of the things when we came online, it was supposed to be a go live, but that didn't happen. Was limiting the schedule view to certain roles. That way, a fireman couldn't necessarily see what admin schedule was or something like that. So,
Sure.
They said that that's in the works across the board for a bunch of stuff. So yeah, hopefully that comes sooner rather than later.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Sorry. Two options you might have on that are, I don't know if there's anything in field management. I've been playing around with the field management. There's a lot of like read and lock permissions in field management. And then also you could, I guess, take their permissions away from seeing personnel and I guess build a report with the information that you need if it's just information based and put it on a dashboard. That's the only two workarounds that I can think of.
And that's just to introduce, that's Josh Patterson, guys. He's a administrative captain with a department up here in South Carolina.
Sorry about that.
No, bro, you missed you already texted that you had stuff going on. So Josh joined because, like us, he's trying to find some, assistance with the reports. But in probably a couple weeks, we're going to get Josh to do one for us and really drill down on assets and inventory. I haven't seen anybody else's other than Chris's, Trent's up in Spartanburg, but they've really got it figured out, guys. Clint's another one. They've got it dialed in, and so anything we can learn from everybody, we try to add it in.
Yeah, guys, sorry, I'm doing this off my MDT headed to a memorial service, so hopefully y'all can hear me.
Oh yeah, we heard you good, Josh.
Hey, this is Clay. To piggyback off of what he said, if you remove the permission for that role and take away the personnel list, does that affect the data source permissions in the reports module to where they could still see the personnel reports with filtered information, even though you've taken personnel out of the sidebar menu? Is there any way, because it seems like it'd be conflicting, you're allowing them to have permission in the data source configuration under reports, but you're taking away the personnel module from their sidebar by removing it from that role. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I haven't tested that out, but I know what I'm going to do later today. So
I know what I found was unfortunate in that if you wanted somebody as it used to be, let's say, right? So you're looking in here and you're like, man, how do I get such and such's phone number? Well, you have to give people edit access, and then then you just end up with a hot mess, right? So
Yeah, and for us guys, because they haven't changed the permissions and all those rules, kind of like even some of the stuff Clay was just saying, we just did it only for battalion chiefs and up, just to keep it simple, so no one else can see it, because it's when you guys know the fire department, right? It's going to take somebody's going to do something silly, and it's going to ruin it for everybody. And because we have so many people and so many different personalities, the last thing I want is somebody to go in there, and even if they see somebody's phone number, it could be innocent, and they call them, and then the person's going to say, well, you got my phone number, now people calling me. Like, bro, he
yeah,
called you to swap shifts. Chill out. But
right.
just to avoid the situation, we just removed it. I mean, it's the same reason we turned off. I don't know if you guys are using the chat feature on the app. We were live with that for 3 hours, and we turned it right back off
So
for obvious reasons.
real quick, I might have to hop out here in a minute, but I made those personnel dashboards. I did one for each shift, and then I did like a birthdays one, and I made the birthdays one where like admin staff, battalion chiefs and stuff, captains could see their people's birthdays. It's working well for us. It cleaned up a lot of that stuff. I didn't realize until it was mentioned in here that everybody could still see the all personnel. And a quick question I have is, anybody had issues? So I have like a report. I have a few reports that have like the hyperlink for incidents, where basically you click the hyperlink and go straight to that incident. I'm having a problem with that hyperlink when I put it into a dashboard. Like the hyperlink disappears and it's useless. Because I was going to do one for like incomplete reports and stuff for like the battalions, and it just like the hyperlink disappeared on me when I put it into the dashboard.
I got one. Let's.
They should have that.
Yeah, I was going to say, Josh, what these guys have done, they've actually just made the report for incomplete reports. I don't think that you guys are using hyperlinks, are you, Clinton, Corey?
Well, it's like a hyperlink inside the report where they can click it's like the incident ID, and they showed me where you can click that incident ID and basically go straight to the report.
Basically like that. But that's not a report. But yeah. And that was what gosh, I forget her name. Jennifer, was it? Miss Clemson? I'm gonna just call her Miss Clemson. That's what she pointed out, and I mean that's what I learned a couple meetings ago from her, right? Hey, if you have a chance in a report to grab an ID for anything, it's going to create that hyperlink. So it may be a matter of your report maybe not calling up, and these are units, but maybe not calling up your incident by ID. Maybe it's calling it up by address or something. In short, if you have a chance to use your ID, use it, because that's going to allow for this. See, like we have ours group, like right here, nothing. But you can come here to your incident ID, right? And just click on it, and it'll pull you to it.
I didn't know that.
That's what we had in the dashboard, and it wasn't like there wasn't a hyperlink there. It was in the report when I pulled it in the report. As soon as I went in the dashboard, it disappeared. I don't know. It might have just been a glitch, an error.
Weird. I know one trick, y'all probably all know it, but when in doubt, bro, if something's acting funky, and you see I got like a zillion Chrome extensions, if something ever acts funky, just open your incognito window and try it, because that bypasses, forgive me if y'all know this, it bypasses all your browser cookies and stuff, and those things tend to get kind of funky. So I use incognito a good bit. They call me incognito because I'm forever hopping to it, and that'll also enable you to be able to hop into your two accounts at once. So I'm the king of incognito on multiple windows. So let's go back to these reports so I can show y'all this. And then somebody else can share because I get winded.
You say you get winded?
Hey, what are you doing that, dude?
Bro,
you mind me asking? You mind me asking what list management is? I don't have that on the sideboard.
Right here?
Yeah.
They may have to turn it on. That's what I found, and it's frustrating. Oh yeah, we got to turn that on. And I'm like, everything on, dude, and let me turn it off. So currently,
Okay, the types. Okay.
yeah, and that's all we have. I don't know where that comes from. But just something we couldn't even delete like personnel. They're like, oh yeah, we got to turn that on. I was like, well, I'm a freaking super. I mean, I'm an admin. Like, help me, help you. Let's pop back.
Yep.
Yeah, so if anybody watching the recording, we've had the same issue. Make sure you get with your CSMs and let them know you want everything turned on. And sometimes they change stuff and the CSMs may not be aware so soon. So you got to stay on them. And that's where it's good having these peers too. So you see stuff and you're like, hey, how come my screen doesn't look like that? Turn it on.
You done, politician?
That's right.
Bro, you know I got to do what I got to do when I got to do it. Come on, baby.
Look, we're the angel and the devil on First Dude's show. The angel and I'm the freaking. My face is on a dartboard somewhere. I'm gonna tell you. So
I'm right there with you, man. Yeah, I'm right there with you.
this is our personnel status change. This I'm dealing with it right now, and I'm gonna show you. So this is terminated and resigned, right? I'm gonna show you the criteria, and then I'm gonna show you why I'm having issues with it. Without going into personnel, I didn't know, so I was never putting end of service dates, right? So currently, we'll roll through this personnel, and it'll make sense. Personnel, it's a summary, no columns, no sort, criteria. So I'm telling it I want a status of that are in these, right? Because if you leave, you're leaving because you deceased, you resigned, you retired, or you got terminated. We've been having a lot of these. So it's on or after, obviously the beginning of this. Oh, I'm bouncing. So you're in one of those. It happened on or after the first, right? Simple. You have that status after the first. Well, I wanted to search it some other ways. The chief wanted it. Well, what about monthly? What about biweekly? And I never put in end of service dates, right? So you can't tell the computer to tell me who was fired last week when it doesn't know. So food for thought. We didn't use a lot of the data in there, or a lot of the spots. Like I didn't put socials in there because you know how it is, man. Because you have personnel IDs, right? Well, not only that, First Dude gives you about 700 fields that you can use for personnel IDs. So again, not grouped, no nothing here. And that, what was it, number 4, I guess it was. Dashboards. We haven't really rolled dashboards out to the whole department. As you'll see, the chief's got his own. Chief of operations, 5 and 7, those are deputies. Prevention, we made one, but Clay's is way cooler and better than mine. Just blah blah, right?
Maybe Clay will show those next, right?
Clay's are awesome.
Oh, really? I didn't see those yet.
I got to keep up with y'all. I was like, well, let me learn that one from you. So
no pressure, Clay.
we got just metrics. I don't know what this personnel is. I think this was our attempt at doing what you were talking about there, Nick.
Hey, Clint, when you pick that date, you pick like January 1st to whatever. Has anybody seen there's an advantage of selecting like the option this year versus putting the date? Because like when they showed us on the video, you use like a
when it's available, I'll use that because then it'll allow your report to roll. Like I've got a bunch of reports that are like, oh, go in and change the date because so filters came out after a bunch of these were available, right? So then we can go in, but I'll try to grab that that last 30 days, last 60 days, last 90 days when it's available and it's applicable. But for some reason, it just depends. I think you and I were looking at something and it was, or maybe it was Lafayette I was looking at it with. And it was one of those, like it should have gave, like it would have been nice if it would have gave you one of these. Was that? It might have been, I don't know. Where you might have had one of these, but instead you had to do a long end statement with a bunch of commas and stuff. So I think it looks at the columns, right, in the table and then says, well, hey, let's add all this. Let's make this available, you know. So you just kind of, you get what you get.
Hey, this is Clay. I got a quick question while you're there. Can you tell me the difference between this calendar year and this year to current date?
Yeah, that's so the year to current date, and that's what I think me and Clinton figured out. Or Corey, it was me and Corey. So this year to current date will mean it's going to go from April of this year to April of last year, right, Corey? I think that's what we figured out.
That's what it looks to appear to be.
And then this calendar year, Clay, goes from January through the year, and that's why I was asking Clint on his. He picked starting at January 1st, and I was like, why would you not select this calendar year option? And then when First Due showed us the example, they picked the like the range, and then they manually did it. And my thing is like, is there a difference in using any of those? Will it give you different data?
I don't know. I didn't know that about this calendar year versus this year to date. Like, because to me, it's like, well, this year to date, this calendar year can't be bigger than the year to date, you know?
Yeah, I could be wrong. That's what we were trying to figure out. We were messing with it when Corey and I did it then.
All right, let's see what we got.
So that's what I was wondering, if you had things in the future, like inspection schedules and stuff, if it would count those
Maybe so.
this calendar year versus the current date cuts it off at this date.
Let's see if we get anything different. So we're 1563. Somebody remember that. And
Bro, come on.
1463.
yeah, so that's this calendar year. Let's go. Not tomorrow. We're not that good yet. Well, or the next working day. We're still not that good. So it was calendar year. Let's run a year to date. Same thing.
Okay, I was wrong. Write this day down.
So the way you explained it
But
was what I thought happened.
You know what, though?
It looks
That may be the
365
same because
days
it's-
back from here.
Because that's incidents, it'll be the same. If it was something like events and you had future events scheduled,
Okay.
I'm wondering if it would include those. Do you get what I mean? Because incidents would be
Absolutely.
the same up till today,
Absolutely.
same number, but events could be more if you had future scheduled or something like that.
I think the short answer too is we need them to put a knowledge base article up there, kind of listing which those non
Yeah.
ones are. And I might throw up a post there just because so they get heat from more than just me of like kind of things we've noticed in this meeting that multiple of us are having the issue on, even if we've already submitted a ticket. Just so
I mean, we're going to post a video. Sylvia's going to post a video, so they're going to see this video, and I promise you, they're going to watch it and probably take some notes and say, "Oh yeah, this is that." But that's there it goes right there, Clint. Because I'm like, what?
Yeah,
like,
but see,
what's the advantage of using either one?
You don't, because you get what you get and you don't throw a fit kind of thing. Like, I don't know. So it looks at this criteria, right? And this one doesn't give us an option to, it's just, you got to figure it out, right? So
But
you would
if you do equal, it will change it. It's just only if you do between, it gives you
equal.
Oh, word! I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's weird.
So it's like the reports. This relies on that, relies on that, relies on that. So so hey man, that essentially we're telling it this current year, right? So let's go to equal. We're gonna run the two, right? So we're gonna go this calendar year. See what we got.
I'm guessing one probably updates, right? If you do this current year, it's gonna every day it's gonna update versus if you do specific dates, you're gonna have to manually go in and change that criteria each time you want it to run.
So we're 1 through 50 is 69, right? And that is for, what did I put, this current year? So let's look at or that's this calendar year. I don't remember what that was. It was like 69, right? So if we go this year to current date, because we have some stuff scheduled out already for these events, and it's 60. So we lost 9 events, which are probably 9 scheduled in advance. You were right. Because if you'll look here, it stops it today. Whereas if we were to, somebody nailed it. We go this
Who said
calendar.
that? Who was right? They get a free like lollipop or something.
They get a free if you're not first due, you're last sticker.
Bro, if we don't get those made, man, I need
Dude.
one. I'll buy one.
Oh, that's a
Dude,
fact.
We've
Bro,
been,
those
we've been on it long. We've been on it long enough. I know how first two thinks. You know?
There you go.
those
Hey,
have
Clint.
been yeah.
I think those stickers should turn into shirts, and that's the turn up T-shirt for Austin, Texas.
Bro, it's already I could show you a text message. It's already in the works. Those hey, my Louisiana guys. So the Spirit of Louisiana had one on the back of it, but somebody took it off. We had it down here for something. If you don't know, the Spirit of Louisiana was a truck. I will keep my opinions to myself. That the state payer that after 9/11, the state of Louisiana, all the people came together, took donations. Ferreira sent it up to New York. When the flood happened after Katrina, New York sent it back. Insert Clint opinion here. New Orleans did whatever they did with it, and now it's the state fire marshal has it for a PR tool. So, anyways, so I put a sticker on the back of it. It's on the back of other departments' trucks, from what I hear. Like, it's a thing. It's a thing. So last but not least, breakdown by race. Right. Here's our output. We're gonna be on.
And I think again, Clint, like if you're a small department or some departments, it may not be an issue for you, but coming from the cities we come from, we got to produce this at a market.
We'll probably end up if this gets in the wrong hands, we'll be under a consent decree again here in Baton Rouge. But anyways, summary report, right? Nothing, because it don't let you. Nothing. My criteria here is status equals active. We want those active people. And then your race is in those 6 items. Pretty straightforward. You're telling it I want the active people that have a race. I had to add this because we had those skewed numbers, whereas people didn't. We just didn't put a race for them, or I don't know. It's kind of like Will is, just you're playing catch up. You're like, man, I'm gonna put good data in. I'm not gonna put this crap that we had, and then
Go back and click on the bottom one too, because one thing when I talked to you last week, what we noticed, if you look at it, it's tracking race, but there's another box in first due and I'm going to try to not butcher, it's ethnicity. And so that's how it tracks like your Hispanics and Latinos and non-Hispanic Latinos. So for us, I guess I'm going to have to build a third box and see how that's going to track, or if it's even in this one. But I know it's in the personnel.
Oh yeah.
one.
Would you have to maybe put a child or something?
Yeah, I don't know. That's one we're going to have to, on our end, we'll have to figure it out. Because I know that's going to be one that we need to track as well.
I do it all the time. I'm Spanish. Like, I'm Spanish, not Mexican. Not that there's a problem with that, big brother. But yeah, see, it's not here, so you would have to just add a child or something. I'm still trying to wrap my head around this. As far as in my mind, hey, adding a child gives you more columns to choose from. So that's my reports. I am quitting screen sharing now. Has everybody got everything needing?
Wait, don't quit screen sharing. On that first report that you had, or your first dashboard, you had your incident types broken down by the overall 100, 200. Can you go through that one?
Watch this. I don't need to. And I will. Don't get me wrong. That's that same tutorial I sent to Sylvia. Man, y'all forgive me. I'm so burnt. And it helped her. Like, she was hung up on a percentage-y, charty kind of thing. What was it under? Grouping, huh? Was it under ad hoc?
Yeah, I don't remember.
It was the calculation, right? The total.
Yeah, long story short, these videos, man, if you jump into those, Jason, look, I hovered over your name to get it. There's a benefit to doing it, to following this, because it's going to school you up kind of on what's going on. I don't know if you fool with grouping a whole lot, but one of these tutorials gets you precisely what you want. You see what I'm saying? So I would jump into this and play with it. I'll certainly show you the report. Like,
He's like, bro, just show me how you did it real quick.
yeah, quit talking, you long-winded bastard.
I don't need to read the instructions. Show me.
Yeah, help me get to the promised land, bro. Come on.
Come on. Metrics, right? Incidence metrics. So let's go gut this sucker.
Yeah, because I've been trying to get something like that, and even Nick Westbank Nick has been trying, and I haven't been able to figure it out. I'm like, it's got to be there because the canned report under incidents shows it, but when you try and print that canned report, you can't read a damn thing on it. So,
Well, let me see where the hell I got it from. I don't remember. You talking about this, and this?
no, the incident breakdown year to date at the bottom. How you? Well, no, I'm sorry. It was under maybe your council meeting one.
Okay. This is one I made that's pretty. I'm just kidding, y'all. Bro showed me how to do that.
Yeah, yours are still working though. Just turn out there.
That's the one you broke?
Yeah, I tried to improve it and broke it pretty bad. Good. I think he's looking at that FD council one.
This one
There
right
you go, at the
here.
bottom.
The 2024 incident type summary. If you could, because I
Let's go
can't.
find it.
I think that's a canned one.
I think it is too. Let's go look.
Yeah, Jason, I think that's a canned one because I have the same one on mine. Yeah.
Damn it. That's
Hey,
good.
Clint, if you go back to that one and hit the big arrow,
Yeah.
and then you can find the report right from that page. And
Exactly what report.
Jason, yeah, it's going to even show you. It's going to give
Oh,
you a
yeah.
description too.
Yeah. That's right out the box. That's one that they started.
So Jason, write that the FDR infer 00, and that's what you're going to search for in your ad hoc. And that's a canned one they built for us.
Okay, thank you.
There's a bunch of those too, man. There's like I would play with these and just run them. Because there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of data in here, incident wise. And on all of their little FDR reports. That's a fairly new thing they started rolling out not too long ago. And the unfortunate thing is they're tight-lipped with a bunch of them. And I get it. They're fancy queries. But so you can't like, oh, well, let me jump in here and see how they're doing it and duplicate it and tweak it for my use.
I guess you're going to be able to. They're going to be opening those up to clone soon.
Good.
Yeah.
All right.
Hopefully that'll make it easier.
Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause
they
I have-
released
I have a
something
ticket
today.
open to try and get a report that looks exactly like that. So
Hey, Louisiana guys, watch this. I'm just gonna tease you. I'm gonna tease you. Look at this.
Yeah, I got to see it.
There they are.
Click.
Do you want to get Clay to show those fire prevention ones?
Okay, yeah. Let me get out of here, but I'm gonna show you something. Watch this.
Oh, here we go.
Watch
He's
close,
pretty
Louisiana. Watch close. Phew! Did you see that?
Yeah, can't
Hey,
mess
look.
with it.
Let me see what they're using to do these 1710 reports. Okay, let's look at the logic behind it. Let's figure out what's happening. Okay. Phew! Suckers. All right, I'm out. I'm off the screen share.
You just threw another dart at your picture. All right, Clay, you show us yours. Sylvia, you'll have to, you know what to do for Clay.
Oh, actually, I put it where everybody could share.
Oh, wow. No pressure, Clay. He said you had awesome fire prevention ones.
Plays is on point. I'm telling you.
Oh, yeah? You put him on the hot seat.
I swallowed my pride and was like,
Hey,
"Hey,
while
bro,
he's pulling those up, does anybody know how to limit? So, like, if I wanted to do I want to send a report out to the guys, but I don't want it to be with every single infers. Is there a way to limit, like, to the top 15 calls or something so that my chart isn't looking like it's on ADD?
of course." Like,
Yeah, with 16 million different, you know what I mean? Like,
when you build it, Sylvia, I know you can go in there and unselect certain ones.
yeah, but so I guess what I'd have to do is sort them after, do a summary of all of them or a report of all of them, and then sort from there
Yeah.
which ones, and then just rebuild it smaller.
Kind of like your units, Dash. We'll
Yeah.
like one for this, one for that, one for this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I
And
had a
Sylvia,
request.
you can use that when you go back to, well, no, because I won't break them down. I'll just do it by the 100 blocks. It
Well,
won't
I
break-
have it. I've already got it where it's by all the infers. So,
okay.
and I can sort that in my spreadsheet when after I download it and then go in and just rebuild it and select the ones I want. Okay. Because I didn't know if there was an option to go in and just say do the top 15 or whatever on those. So, okay, that'll work. I can do that.
The other thing is we got about 9 minutes. Do we want to get Clay to show them next time, or just kind of give us a highlight and then do a deep dive into them next time? It's up to the group, really.
Yeah, highlight. I can keep going. If other people want to stay on, I can.
I'm at the house. It don't matter.
I'm by myself, so there's nobody here to bug me.
So maybe we'll do another 15 minutes. I'm just thinking too, like the people who go back and watch it, you
Yeah.
know? So
Mhm.
We ain't worried about them. They should have been here.
That's right.
That's great.
They can fast forward when I start talking, those suckers.
That's true. They could.
Brody's worried about the first due clients.
No, sir. I'm just, as an ADHD, community member.
Call me,
Yeah,
man.
he's got about another 10 minutes good left before his pills run out.
Hey,
Call me,
know me
man.
well.
Call me, man.
You know me well.
Okay, well, we're
I know
still.
I broke my training
Yeah,
down. Oops, sorry. I broke my training down this week to ISO levels. I don't know if anyone else uses ISO.
Oh, yeah.
But,
I think that was one of the new reports they released today, too, Chris. Not to.
no, of course.
After you did all the work.
They probably took it off mine.
Like they legit today, I think released it.
New ones?
Matter of fact, it says, where is it at?
By your training category.
Yeah, ISO training hours completions percentage year to date. That's one of the new ones.
They didn't even give Clint a shout out.
It's pretty much what I had. But I built a dashboard that shows it broken down by the classifications, but also by pie charts with it and links for other training and stuff like that. So I built like a training dashboard.
Mighty nice of you. Appreciate you doing that for us. Clay, there it is.
So I was testing this out earlier whenever you were talking about the link going away, and it does appear that the link to the incident number does go away when you create a report. The link only exists in the incident list itself. So you couldn't click on the incident number in the report itself and be taken to that incident record to go ahead and start the record. So
Scroll
maybe they'll
down.
release that.
Okay. Yeah, mine looks completely different than yours.
I just built this a while ago whenever he said that he lost the link. Whenever, in your incident record, or your incident list, you can click on the link to actually go in and enter the incident record to complete it. But whenever you build a report and say the status is not started, it takes away that link. So you can't click on this incident number to be taken to that incident record to complete it. So you could use this in a dashboard, but you can't actually click on that incident number to be taken to the incident to complete it from there.
Yep. The same as mine.
All right. So yesterday I met with Corey about a separate report that had to do with work types and subtypes to be able to show the number of hours worked, overtime hours is how we originally got started on the conversation. But while we were on Teams, I threw this idea out there, and I sent an email to Will and Clint about how to accomplish the count of violations. And in Firehouse software, we had a report that just showed the top 10 violations for specific date range. And so I've been playing around with dashboards, and I help teach the inspector training. For Texas Commission on Fire Protection requires certified inspectors to actually conduct the inspections. Well, we have civilian inspectors within the fire marshal's office, and then we have company inspectors that are in the field. And so I was a company inspector when I was in the field, and before I came into the role that I'm in now 10 years ago. I still take on some inspections, but it's predominantly foster home inspections. But in in our inspection training that has to happen annually to give the inspectors their 2 hours of CE, we always go over the top 10 violations. And so Corey and I were talking about this yesterday, and it took a little bit of finagling to get the report to work just right, but finally got a report built. And even though it shows here, it doesn't sort automatically. And I wish that that's something that summary reports would do is sort. And I know that they mentioned it on the webinar last Friday that they were going to explore the options there. But this is really what our fire marshal's office has been looking for. So what it does is it just shows the count of inspections. This report is set to this calendar year. The completed inspections here is set to this calendar year. We can look at that here in a minute. But this count of violations uses not just the inspections module or the overall inspections table, it utilizes the violations table specifically. And so when you go into the dashboard and you sort by the number of violations in descending order, it'll give you your top 10. And it really depends on how big your window is. I resized this a little bit last night before I sent Clint a screenshot of it to just give me the top 10 here, because that's really all we care about. Because that's what we're going to talk about, the Associated International Fire Code, the city ordinances, so on and so forth related to the top 10. And my reports aren't as fast as Clint, so it's taking just a minute.
Yeah, and Clay, that's awesome. I'm thinking from a risk reduction side, you know your top violations, right? And so now it's to go into those businesses and start educating them. And if you're able to track that for next year and say, hey, look, the educators educating on these topics and we see a reduction, and man, now our inspectors are completing more inspections because they got less violations, man, you're cooking with oil then.
Well, we just tried to rebuild what was, and it was actually a shared report with us that we got from a firehouse conference. Somebody demoed it. I think it was out of Lenexa, Kansas. Butch Dykemper had demoed a report that he was using to really drive home fire education and best practices for safety when he did his occupancy inspections. But he was looking at the top 10, top 15, 20 violations, and then he would go out and really hit hard on those top violations to reduce them. So when our previous firehouse administrator saw that report, she begged, borrowed, and stole it from him, and he was more than willing to let us have that one and any other ones that he had. And so we utilized that in our previous inspector trainings.
You want to show us how you built it?
We're short. I'm sorry?
You want to show us how you built that one?
Yep. We'll get into that now.
And while you do that, one thing, if anybody else figures out, we're going to try to figure out is our fire marshal's real big on something he calls a correction rate. So how many violations are we finding? And then how many are we fixing? And then what's the percentage that are still out there that are not repaired?
So it's just your basic inspections module, but when you get into the data source configuration, they actually break out inspection violations as its own table, I guess, for the data source. So we're tapping into that. We added a child for inspection. And this is why I ran into some issues, because the created date is in this table, but when I use the created date for this calendar year, the report doesn't show any data. If I choose the month or choose the date filter to show last calendar month, it shows all the violations for last month. But the minute that I set the it's completed by, I'll look at it here in a second. It's this calendar year, but the violation create at has to be this calendar year. If you go in and use the date for when the inspection was completed, it breaks the report. If you use this calendar year, it says no data to show.
Interesting.
And so that's where I was having a hard time really getting this report to display accurately and not break, was to use the day that the violation was created, which essentially gives you the same date as when the inspection was completed. So the row group just says the checklist item question, and then I'm counting the number of violation IDs pertaining to the checklist item question. And then this is how I got my percentage. I think Sylvia had posted about this, running into some issues about how to to calculate the percentage, and then just showing that it is an actual percentage. And then I generated a pie chart just to do it, but I'm not using that. So that's the nuts and bolts of how that report was built. And I've asked before if there's a way, I think I emailed support, or I may have posted it to the users group, if there's a way to turn off the labels for these. Oh, it's posted in the Q&A for the webinar that First Do hosted. I'd really like to get rid of these and just let the user mouse over to get the question and the percentage. But they said there's no way to turn these labels off. As you can see, that pie chart's really busy, and it looks even worse as a donut chart. But then you're showing the whole list of violations here, where we have 48 questions in the inspection checklist, and then the number of violations. And one thing to mention, I mentioned to you earlier that we have the fire marshal's office inspections, and then we have company inspections. I set that filtering criteria to not show me any company inspections. So this is just the fire marshal's inspections only, and you can see the different inspection types that they do. So we could create another one. We could duplicate this report and just call it company inspections, and then go in and just say inspection type equals company inspections, and we'd get the same questions, just a different count of violations. And it's either they're not marking the violations, or they just really don't have as many violations as what our fire marshal's office is finding on their inspections. But I shared this with Corey. You guys are welcome to it. If you want it, I'll send you the name of the report, send you our department and agency name, so that you all can grab that instead of having to reinvent the wheel.
Clint, Clay, that's it's really cool.
Very cool.
Very cool. So
Well, thank you. Several of you have helped out with this, so I appreciate your help.
Yeah, I'll be rewinding this video.
One thing
trying to get that one.
One thing I started thinking about was when you couldn't click on those incident IDs, was it a summary or tabular report? You know?
You're talking about the incident IDs, Chris?
Yeah, the one he just had where he couldn't click the incident IDs.
Yeah, I don't think
summary or
I think it's summary, but it still doesn't.
I'm wondering if on a tabular it might be. I feel like one of my reports it was clickable.
I have it. I just got it working.
What'd you do different, Corey?
I'm not sure. I could show you after.
I had to go back and look, but it's not a summary report. It's a tabular report.
It is? Okay. I was just wondering if that, because there are some nuances between the two.
I have it as a tabular report, and I got the link to show the incident ID. You can click on it. It's hyperlink.
Yeah, mine's a tabular as well.
And yours is not clickable?
No. But that was like one of the first reports I've ever built. So I'd probably need to go back and retool it a little bit, because it's a hot mess. But it gets the job done for what we need right now.
Well, think about it. Think about it. If it's a summary, it's compiling a bunch of stuff together, right? If it's tabular, it's giving you the list. So I would think it would be more apt to be clickable in a tabular versus a summary. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, mine's not. But and honestly, for us, I don't think it would matter whether it's clickable or not. Ours is more or less for the battalion chiefs to go and look and see how many reports are still not done. And then they contact our folks and say, get your report done. Our issue is because we don't use the scheduling app, it doesn't always populate. Like right here, I've got 77 calls not done, right? And so when you look at it, it doesn't show you. Here, let me share my screen. Why am I can just show you instead of saying. Okay, so like right here, because these have been opened, by the chiefs, it will put the shifts there. But all of these, they don't know what shift it is. So when our operations admin goes to basically let them know, hey, all these reports aren't done, she doesn't know what shift it is. And that's probably our biggest issue. So, and like I said, we've got some from yesterday that the guys just don't do them. So, we're trying, that's an internal thing we're working through. We're down to 77. We're usually average about anywhere from 50 to 70 a day, not done. So, it's work in progress. We've got a standing directive out now that if you don't have them done by the end of shift, you have to basically have a really good reason why. And so, these are late at night, but and this is recorded, so I'll leave my comments out of it.
Get rid of the evidence.
I wonder if they do they have a telestaff? You use telestaff, right? Do they have an API into that?
Oh yeah. We've got the API, and for anybody who's got the API, one thing we had to learn when you do your personnel list, when you have their ID, you have to have an API ID also for it to link over. And we didn't know that.
Yeah. But group doesn't come over from it.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of people didn't come over. But now what happens is it adds the people automatically to the shift. If they open the shift and everything's that day, if you wait to open your report next shift, it won't bring the people over. So it's kind of like a penalty thing. And so now you've got to go back and enter everybody. But, we're, like I said, we're looking at whether scheduling is going to be right for us or not. That's going to be a decision well above my pay grade because it's that's a city thing and city IT. So I think we're a little over an hour. Should we call it here and save bandwidth?
Oh, I'm good on bandwidth because we don't do that many Zooms.
Okay.
But I just want to ask if whoever did that dashboard for us, it'd be our BCs, that had everything they'd need. I think it had the weather and all kinds of cool stuff. Could we just see that one?
Yep.
If you're here, who had it? Corey?
That's Chris O'Toole. That's me.
Oh, okay.
You there?
Yeah.
OG, triple OG.
Yes.
You going to show it?
Yeah, one second. Let's see.
Awesome. Yeah, I want my deputy chief to see it. He was interested when I told him that somebody had built one of those, and he's like, "Oh, really? That'd be pretty cool."
So can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. I called it the shift officer hub. So pretty much what we put was pretty much anything they need right off the bat. Starting a new work order goes direct to the new work order page. Creating an event, they could just click it there. They could schedule an inspection directly, just bring them right into the inspection. Hydrants out of service, we had listed here. Ours is a smaller list, being a smaller depth, but we could just scroll right down through it. We have our NPERS. I'm on a smaller screen at this station here today, but our NPERS comes right across here, and they can finish it right in here. They don't have to go in. If they want to make it bigger, they could just click the bigger to go any of those. I got the weather there with the radar for them, and it's all on one page, so they don't have to go down, and click each individual thing because they're clicking out of things all day. We have our shifts here, assignments right down that they could do anything with. And then our two things we added was training right down, so they could just enter training directly from this screen, but instead of going directly into the module, and then our event list. It's right below that. So we kind of made it, we called it the officer hub, and just put kind of everything you need on a daily basis right there on one screen, so you don't have to search around through the different modules for what you have to use.
Yeah, that's very cool.
And I'll show you guys just quickly the one. This is the training one I was talking about. So we put training links for the different things, like to add a class, different logins we have for other trainings, training articles, and then down here was broken down by ISO. So by the group, how the specification installed down by group, broken down by group. And so we have our 4 groups. Then at the bottom, I did, all year department training, and broken down by the person.
That's really nice.
So
Yeah.
that's our
Our training captain like
so
that.
that's the training dashboard. If anyone wants that, I can definitely just hit me up and we can tell you how that was done. What reports I use.
Cool.
And you guys are using the
about it.
training module, correct? Obviously.
Yes, we are. Yeah, we're full on everything except EMS currently. There was a couple things that EMS needs before we would consider switching from the the dreaded, I won't mention the name.
Nah, very, very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Great.
Good
Did
work.
that cover what you needed to see, Sylvia? So you can
Yeah,
show.
I just wanted to have an example so I could show him. Tell him when he watches the video, he could see what it looks like.
So
Sure, definitely.
So we've done, this is our second one. Do we want to try to do another one next week as well?
Sure.
The group? Yeah. I'm not hearing nobody say no.
Sure.
There's no telling where we'll be by next week either. I mean, we keep on, everybody keeps advancing and adding more to it, man. They're just getting better and better and better. Corey, your children have grown up a little bit, man. We're kind of like leaving the flock.
Might crash and burn eventually.
It's very impressive, man.
Yeah.
The teamwork again. So, I'd say Sylvia, go ahead and hit the end of record button, and we'll try to
Okay.
plan on next week.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Will Brocious, Columbia Fire, Division Chief. I handle our data, community risk reduction, accreditation stuff.
Okay, I'll go. Sylvia Peace, Greenville Fire in Texas. I'm the Sierra Community Risk Reduction Specialist, coordinate all the programs and